right, guys. Welcome back to the Spar Scene MMA Show. After a great UFC 300, pretty good card. Then we had Ryan Garcia this past weekend. So two really good main events. Good for the MMA and boxing fans all around. And then now we got this card this week. Back in the Apex, a fight night. I know everybody's excited about that. Also, before I forget, I don't know if I guess I got to mention this. We didn't do too well. We went 0 for 3 for UFC 300. That wasn't too good. But like I said, we did enjoy the fights. We all hung out that night. It was a good time. We did the good old 0-3 for 300, 0-3. So, but yeah, here we are. We're back in the Apex. We have a lot of good fights announced. So if we get through these Apex cards and St. Louis cards, then we'll be back with Conor McGregor, Islam. So we got stuff to look forward to bounce back. But yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna get our best bets for this week's UFC fight night.
Oh, show me the money, huh? Show me the money.
It doesn't hit as well as seeing after you got that loss, man.
That hurts a little more now. After
kind of represented I represented our best bets last week as well. I think Oliveira losing was the reason we went 0-3. I think if he won that fight, we'd go 3-0. But he lost, we got 0-3.
I've been in hiding since then.
Yeah, it's also the reason why I'm depressed. But
hopefully we can win this week, at least one or two. I'm going Bogdan Guskov as my best bet this week over Ryan Spann. This is an underdog pick. I just have zero confidence in Ryan Spann, to be honest with you. He lost to Anthony Smith twice, which, I mean, Anthony Smith is kind of falling apart a little bit. And then Craig Krylov, he lost by submission the first round. Before that, he looked good, though. He beat Dom Reyes, Kudilaba. So he had two wins there where we thought, okay, maybe he has a chance to kind of return and make a run for the title. And then he just falls into two losses against opponents that he should be beating. Guskov made his UFC debut against Volkan Ozdemir. Lost that fight by submission. Of course, Ozdemir, he's a veteran in the UFC. He's not a slouch. He's not a top contender, but he's not a slouch either. Then he comes back against contender series guy Zach Puga, wins by KO there, and I think he's aggressive. If you look at his fights before the UFC, he's getting first round knockouts. And I think Ryan Spann, from what I've seen, he's the kind of guy to, if he's getting pressured and he's fighting an aggressive fighter, he's going to wilt. That's just what I've seen. Like, he's not tough, I don't think, unless he shows me different this weekend. But I think the way Guskov fights, it's just a bad recipe for Ryan Spann. I just don't think he fights good against those kind of guys. I think this is a big pick. If you want to look at some value, Guskov plus 170 is a very good pick in my opinion.
He's wicked underrated into this fight.
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows his name. That's probably why it's such the odds are in Ryan Spann's favor. But, I mean, I think he's aggressive, and I think if he lands some shots, Ryan Spann will cover and fall down, kind of like Jackson Almeida just gets hit and just wilts against
got on a single leg.
Yeah,
it's a questionable fight IQ, so it's hard to bet on a guy when you just know he's gonna make mistakes most likely.
Right.
Did he get triangled by Anthony Smith? Or am I?
He lost maybe Krylov.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, he got knocked out at one point.
Smith was a decision loss. And then Krylov was a first-round submission. So, this fight will stay on the feet, but I think it's going to be for Guskov.
He's one of those dudes that they fed Nogueira to when Nogueira was 60. They knocked him out. And they're like, it's Ryan Spann's the next guy. He's going to do it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You just fed him a zombie.
Yeah. He beat Dom Reyes by knockout. That was impressive.
That's pretty legit.
But then after that, I thought he would get serious into his training, but apparently he's back to his old ways.
Dom Reyes is the longest torso of any human alive.
Yeah. He's known for one fight. John
I was about to say that was a different Reyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go ahead and go with my best bet. Finding a good pick for this card was trying to find gold outside of my backyard. I couldn't really find anything that was super impressive, but I'm gonna go with a unique one. I'm gonna try to stay away from picking straight up bets, straight up money line bets. I'm gonna go with Austin Hubbard and Michael Figlak, however the Polish want to say it. I'm going with over 2.5 rounds at -260. Austin Hubbard had, before his loss against Kurt Hollenbaugh, he had 5 straight decisions. And then Figlak is coming off 4 straight decisions. And I think, like, especially the stylistic matchups, like I think Hubbard's going to try to grapple a little more, and then Figlak's more like the conventional striker. So whenever you see that, I think Hubbard's going to try to make it a little boring, kind of drag it out a little bit. And then Figlak's going to take some time to try to get his striking going and then find his range. And then hopefully by the time they figure that out, it's towards the end of the fight and it's been over 2.5 rounds. But again, like, both these guys have something to prove. So that's a little that could be good and bad, right? Like they could be a lot more patient. Like Austin Hubbard has a lot of experience. He's fought a lot of UFC fighters. He's like one of the favorites. He lost in the championship in the tough from a year ago. So I think that helps too. And then Figlak was in I can't even think. What was the name of that promotion that he was in? The one in England, or the European one?
Cage Warriors.
Cage Warriors, yeah. So he had a lot of experience in there, and that's where he got a lot of his decisions. So even though he only had 1 UFC fight, he has a lot of experience. So I'm hoping these two guys I can definitely see them going over 2.5 rounds at -260. I think it's a safer bet, but no bet is safe.
Yeah, they're going to the deep waters.
Yeah.
That might actually be time for my public mea culpa, guys. Originally, I had planned on this podcast to apologize to Alex Pereira, but then what happened is I looked at some footage.
Alex Pereira?
Listen, how did I say it? Did I say it wrong?
Perez.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Alex Pereira from last
okay,
weekend.
okay,
I got to apologize.
Okay.
Well, I was going to apologize, but I looked at some footage up close from the corner cam. Dude, listen, Jamal Hill tripped on a banana peel. Somebody left a banana peel in the cage. He tripped on it and slipped and then got knocked down on the ground, dude. That finish is questionable. They're cherry picking his opponents. No, in all seriousness, I was way off. But here's the deal. Just to make my point. Okay. Ankalaev just called out Alex Pereira for a match in Abu Dhabi. Team immediately turned it down. They do not want that fight. They don't want somebody who's going to make it boring and wrestle and do the things that need to be done to win that fight, right? Jan Blachowicz was really close to doing the things he needed to do to win that fight. Ran out of gas. He's too old. He couldn't keep the wrestling going. So I still contend at some point the wheels are going to fall off, but it hasn't happened yet. So, Boatan, I apologize. You were out of control. You stepped on his foot and literally knocked him out in what, like 1 minute and 40 seconds? Horrible. So, anyway, main event. I am picking the favorite on this one, Night Nicolau. This is a big-time fight, marquee fight for 125 pounds. We'll make this one quick. Bottom line, at this point, Alex Perez is basically fighting for his job. Okay, he's had 3 straight losses, but then again, let's break those down. He basically goes in there, loses to Davison Figueiredo, loses to Pantoja, gets completely dominated with wrestling from Makayev, which, he does that to everybody, right? So the question is, Perez constantly got his fights canceled from injury over and over again, right? He never could mount momentum. So the question is this a good idea for him to take a fight this quickly after getting beat? It's not that long ago that he just had a weight cut. It might be a good thing for him, but where he's at right now, I think it's too much pressure. He's got mounting losses. He's taking this fight on short notice. Now, then again, UFC's doing the right thing here. You get 2 guys coming off a loss, right? Because Nicolau got knocked out in the last one against Brandon Roybal, the Raw Dog. So my take on this one is I think Night Nicolau is going to make it probably pretty boring. He's going to use his range finders. I think he's going to use long calf kicks, jabs. He's going to work off distance, try to stay away from the wrestling attack, because even though Alex Perez wasn't able to truly show it against Makayev, his wrestling is pretty money. His grappling is money. But here, I don't know if he's going to be able to get close enough enough times to implement that. I think he's going to get pieced up on the way in. And I could see Night Nicolau maybe cruising to a little bit of a decision here, but I just needed to be safe, y'all. I had to take the money line because after the embarrassment of Jamal Hill, it's not his fault. It's my fault. I had to get back on the winning horse. But big fight for 125. Whoever wins this fight is in an odd place because if Perez wins, it's like, what do you do with him? He's not really primed for the title. But if Nicolau wins, you almost get the feeling like he's coming in for a title shot. So we shall see. Maybe we'll get more clarity on the division if Manel Cape would make way. But he refuses.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The problem is the potential, and he's just ruining it by being a dummy.
Yeah. Like he's not losing the fights. He's just, he's had some losses, but they're close. Like he's just ruining it by not showing up.
But the Dos Santos guy from Shooty Box, is it Felipe Dos Santos?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the future though.
Dude.
That kid. That's my dog.
He barely won his last fight.
He did, but he's my dog.
He didn't really win it, but
he won though, man.
He got it. I was gonna say one thing too before we close it out about Pereira. Like a lot of these fighters are coming out like they don't want to go to Abu Dhabi to fight. So I get what you're saying about like trying to duck Uncle Live a little bit, but even Justin Gaethje said he did not want to go there. He's like doesn't ever want to fight there again. It's like I don't blame him, man. It's a tough trip, enemy territory. It's just a lot of work to get there, and you just headline UFC 300. Like, why would you want to go all the way to Abu Dhabi and fight a guy in his territory? It just doesn't make too much sense. But I see what you're saying. I mean, I would like to see that fight on, our side of the country. So even Brazil, but I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see Pereira. We probably would have heard it already if he was going to fight in a few weeks. So
at Brazil, yeah,
and that would probably have to be a heavyweight due to like weight cuts. So. I don't know. We'll see who's next.
His toes are broken too, right? Didn't he see one was broken going in, another one broke during? Yeah. Which I don't think in his Poatan, I don't think he gives two shits about having a broken foot. He'll fight that way, but I think the commission probably was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
He deserves a card in Brazil.
Yeah.
He deserves a main event against somebody like maybe Khalil Roundtree wins a couple of fights. They put them together. I'd like to see like just striking fights, just like nasty striking fights. Because he at this point is going to put together a highlight reel that's like Anderson Silva-esque of these KOs.
I mean, they're just beautiful. Yeah, except Jan Blachowicz, but
he almost did.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Should have.
Did y'all see where he stepped on his foot? I thought that was really cool.
That was smart.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but.
Is that like an accident? He was just like, pop, cut him off.
That's
beautiful.
Next level.
Love you, Jamal. I still believe in you. I don't know about these two guys, but I believe in you. Okay.
I don't know.
Gotta be Khalil Roundtree first.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. It's tall order.
It's a good check fight to see where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
I like that fight. I mean, I respect him taking it right after the loss too. Like, that's a scary fight to take.
How many weeks does he have? 6 weeks?
I think a little longer than that, right? Is that July?
This is the delusion of fighters. Like, I love him so much. He said on the internet, he's like, I sustained no damage in that fight. I'm like, dude, you got knocked out. That's the worst damage that you could ever take. You can't see it, but it's definitely a damage.
That's tough, man. Sometimes you don't know these fighters are actually like delusional or they're just trying to be uber confidence just to that's who they are, right? That's how they got into the UFCs, by being confident. So
I'm unstoppable.
Who knows? But like I said, we kind of a stinker this weekend after a fun past 2 weekends. But we're back in the studio. Glad we got this video, and hopefully we can hit some bets this week. Hopefully people in the we don't get any haters in the comments. I think people think that we're like selling courses for like $1 million. And guys, we do this for fun. This is not like super serious. I know some guy did message us that he lost his house off these bets, but no.
What are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah, what are we gonna do? But yeah, that pretty much does it. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.